AI has a DeepSeek problem. DeepSeek just released their latest version of the model, DeepSeek 4 or V4 Pro and V4 Flash. And the specs are impressive. But what if I told you that the specs aren't just the scary part, it's just the beginning? Taking a look at the specs, we see that DeepSeek V4 Pro actually competes really well when it comes to Claude 4.6 and ChatGPT 5.4, and even against Gemini 3.1 Pro. We see that DeepSeek is kind of comparative between all of them when it comes to at least these benchmarks. We see the Simple QA verified, they're second to Gemini. It's last place, but it's not too far from the bigger models. And even the Apex Shortest and the Code Forces, we see that when it came to the Apex Shortlist, it's the top, and the Code Forces, it's the top there too. That's for the knowledge of reasoning, but with agentic capabilities, we see the suite verified, it's really neck and neck. And even if it's not first, it's close. I know people are thinking, well, hey, these aren't ChatGPT 5.5, their latest model. This isn't Claude 4.7 Opus. They're comparing it to the last versions. And you're right, but that's not what really matters. This model is completely open source, meaning that this model can be trained, changed to whoever and whatever's liking of the model that you can't do with ChatGPT or Opus. We know that they have a lot of restrictions when it comes to how their models could be used, especially Claude Opus, where if you wanted to put it in OpenClaw or some type of other harness, it drastically charges you a lot more just to use the same model. And with ChatGPT 5.5 and Opus charging you $30 per input output token, $30. That thing could get pricey pretty soon, especially if they're charging you more for using different harnesses. And therein lies where we see where DeepSeek actually shines at, because for DeepSeek's 1 million context input and output, we see that DeepSeek Pro has an input cost of just cents, pennies on a dollar. We see here that with the input and then with cash and then without the cash, we see like 10 cents to $1.74, with the output being $3.48 for the context length. And we see if you wanted to do DeepSeek V4 Flash, the output cost is only 28 cents. Meaning if you want Opus 4.6, ChatGPT 5.4 level of intelligence, you can literally get it for a fraction of the cost. And therein lies the problem with these bigger frontier models. They're way too pricey for what they can do. Think about it like this. Do you need the latest and greatest intelligence just to do an essay or a research paper? No. We seen that even a year ago, ChatGPT and Claude could do really well with essays and papers. So do you need this super souped up V8 engine of a AI in order to do the same work that it could do a year ago? You don't. But if you're really doing that level of work day in, day out, are you going to be willing to pay $30 for each and every time you have to do these papers? Or would you be willing to pay $2, $3, $5? If you ask me, I think that's a no-brainer. We see here where we see DeepSeek V4 Pro Max and DeepSeek V4 Flash Max going against the rest of the competition. And what we see here is that the numbers and figures here aren't far off. They're pretty neck and neck when it comes to the performance and efficiency of these models, meaning that DeepSeek is not necessarily competing on being the best model that's out now, but being the most cost effective for what you need to do with it. Think about it like this. If you're commuting back and forth from work every day, the most powerful vehicle you may be able to have is like a semi truck or like a monster truck. But if that semi truck and that monster truck is burning so much gas that it has to use diesel, and diesel is so high right now, and you're commuting just back and forth to work and it's only carrying you back and forth to work, it's probably not necessary for you to have a semi truck, but it wouldn't be more practical for you to have Honda, Toyota, even if you want to have a regular Ford truck. These are all preferences, but it's no need for you to go monster truck, semi truck level of power when it comes to a vehicle. You can just commute with a regular car, bike, or maybe you can even bus there. And that's what DeepSeek is showing right now, that hey, for your daily everyday task, you can literally just use this way cheaper of a model to get pretty close to frontier level performance. And that's the scary part. I know people want to show different demos of what DeepSeek can and can't do in their demos, but I feel like that's kind of besides the point of just how scary this is. DeepSeek is even running a 75% off promotion right now, which means that the model right now is even cheaper to run. They're competing on price and not performance, which makes sense since AI for 90% of the use cases are good enough. How many developers may be using AI for coding? Maybe a lot, but how many developers are there in the world or in the user base compared to just normal users that just using it to ask simple questions, using it as like a Google replacement just to research things, look up things, figure out certain ideas? How many people are using it just for basic level marketing? Where we see that Claude and ChatGPT are now being used for like tasks. They're being used for coding knowledge. These are specific niche areas, but everybody's not trying to use AI for cybersecurity. And as the frontier models do get better and better, and we see these other models like DeepSeek may not be as powerful as them, but they're way less expensive and they're open source, so they see exactly what's going on and you can create it to be whatever type of model you want. Then who's really winning here? Even DeepSeek, I think, was even able to run on Chinese level software. Since this is not an American AI, this is an open source Chinese AI model. Not only can it run on NVIDIA's like H100s or H200s, like their Blackwell series and stuff like that, but it can also run on Huawei processor. I think it's the Ascend 950, and that means that DeepSeek can probably in the future, and a lot more other Chinese models can run more on Chinese technology instead of needing like NVIDIA's products that we're not even selling them. In the next 5 to 10 years, do we even need the best model, or do we just need a model that's most cost effective for the job? Tell me what you think. Do you think DeepSeek is the game changer that we all need, or do you think DeepSeek is all show and we still have the strongest model, so it doesn't matter? If you want to keep up the latest and greatest AI news, you should definitely like and subscribe. With that being said, Dexter out.